Hello, my name is Arthur Soriano. My pronouns are he, him, his. Welcome to Victorious Voices.
This is Victorious Voices. My name is Niki Martinez. My pronouns are she, her, we. We are so glad that you are able to take the time to join us today on this amazing podcast of topics that we're going to be discussing today that are going to be able to pivot a line of understanding and then also clarity, especially community clarity and healing that we're all leading to on this mission today. So, of course, before I start, I definitely want to start out with a quote. The quote is, "The function of freedom is to free someone else." And I say that with a heavy heart, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But I definitely wanted to acknowledge that, freedom is something when we are able to give it and help others be free and feel free as well. So, how you feeling today, Arthur?
I feel content, motivated, energized, feeling like a champion. I feel strong. I feel confident. And so I'm definitely in a good space, like my mind, my spirit, my soul, where I'm at, the continuous work that I'm doing on myself currently. So I'm excited about that. How about you, Nikki? How are you feeling?
I wish we would have had the Rocky theme in the background right now as you was pinpointing all of that stuff, because I felt like that just made me want to do some cartwheels, some burpees, and the whole giddy down, and then high five myself and confetti come flying out of the sky. Okay, so as for me, how am I feeling? I'm feeling definitely grateful and accomplished and challenged and um very strong in my momentum as far as movement minds go and consciousness goes. So that's how I'm feeling right now. Inquisitive, very inquisitive, for sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love your hair.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I combed it for you today.
Yeah.
I grew it for you today.
Whoa,
What?
you're looking beautiful.
I said, I'm going to see Arthur tomorrow. Grow, hair, grow. And it grew. Look at me.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
and-
I appreciate that.
And I'm so proud of you in your journey with
Thank you.
the new organization that you're a part of. And
Yes.
being bold and strong and representing the community with the advocacy vigorously, right?
Yeah.
With being stern and powerful. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you.
Thank you very much. It's been definitely a wonderful journey. Within the last 2 weeks, we've been able to go inside and visit Central California Women's Facility, which is the largest women's prison in the world. And we've also been able to go into CIW, which is California Institution for Women in Chino, and have very, very strong town hall discussions with them folks on the inside.
So this is a place where you were incarcerated.
This is a place where I was like born and raised, like
For how long?
25 years.
So this was the first time that you were able to reenter back into that prison.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did that feel?
You know, it was really, it was extremely humbling. When I was leaving, one of the folks had, we went in deep with formerly incarcerated folks, right? So when we were leaving, though, one of the folks had asked me, like, how do you feel? Do you get nervous? Like, do you think that they're going to say something to you about like not letting you out? Do you think that like closing the doors? And I said, you know what? I've been able to recondition my mind and change my own narrative when I go inside of institutions like that. Because now I'm a grown woman, I'm a tax-paying citizen, I'm a law-abiding citizen, and they have no right to make me feel that I'm not going to be able to leave this institution. And I think because I have that mind frame, it's I'm equal as anybody that's in there that is allowed to leave back to the free world. And the fact that that they they induce that into folks, that the fear that, you know what, I might not be able to leave here is so strong and it's so loud, because I heard it from so many folks that went back in there like, I'm always scared they're going to say like, like we let you go, we didn't mean it. And it's just like, what? No, like, no, we're out here. We got cleared to go back in there. Why? Because we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and they don't have the authority to keep us.
That's right.
So
That's right.
it was very humbling. And I think the other thing is to just connecting with my folks in there and understanding how oppressive the system is as far as keeping us in cages and removing our rights the way that they have removed our rights, creating so many different barriers and deterrents and obstacles for them to have their basic needs met and their rights violated on such a drastic level, just now being in society. When we're immersed in that culture, it becomes the norm. We become so desensitized because we're functioning from a place of survival. So we're okay with the trauma. We're okay with seeing all of the harm. We're okay with normalizing how things are conducted in there because that's the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now stepping back out into society and understanding the all of the things that are induced in that environment and perpetuated through the people that are supposed, because they have one job to do, is to keep us safe. One job. It's not to deprive us of our rights. It's not to cause us more harm. It's not to violate our beings. It's not to do any of that. They're supposed to keep us safe and create a culture where safety is a priority. That's not at all what's going on in there. And now that I've been able to just kind of reflect back and look at the harm that's been done, it just speaks to me different. And it breaks my soul to know that we, one, as us, as people that have been system impacted, formerly incarcerated individuals, and that have experienced oppressive systems that normalize that, how we don't have the ability to have the conversations to where we can elevate ourselves and educate ourselves and understand that this is not normal and this is the works of what it is. They're winning right now. They are winning. And I think the thing that I seen more than anything that was most prevalent that hurt me was because now they're doing the people in there that are overseeing us, that are incarcerated folks that are in these cages. What they're doing is no longer us against them. They're manipulating us to where it's us against us, and they're creating that culture, and that's that dynamic. But that also is the dynamic out here in this free world.
Yeah,
Right.
right, right.
So
Yeah, no, that's very interesting, and I feel the same way as you. At first, like
mhm.
when I would go into different systems, like I would feel that system induced trauma,
Yep.
the nervous system, and going haywire. But I build towards that to where now I go into institutions with my head up, confident, shoulders back, right? And I'm
Mhm.
there to do a work.
Right.
I'm there to do a job.
Right.
I'm there to support the reentry population. I'm there to go into a courtroom and represent
Yep.
and speak on the causative factors that contribute to people's behaviors and their impacts of trauma, so that it could be different perspectives within the jury, within the court. So it's a fair balance, right?
Mhm.
And you're talking about they're putting it to where it's us versus us.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be a fair process.
Yeah.
And once it's a fair process, then okay, everything's equal,
But
right?
it's like, I mean, I know we only have a limited bit of time right now, so I'm not going to get into the weeds of everything. But it's like, is it really a fair process though? Because I don't ever, looking back on certain things, it's just like, how many people right now are incarcerated that didn't commit the crime? How many people are being encaged right now that ultimately have received excessive sentences that don't warrant? How many people were subjected to the war on drugs back in the early 80s, early 90s, and got life sentences for marijuana, and now it's legal and they're still sitting in prison with the three strikes? Like, what is the fair component of it? I feel like, I was listening to something the other day, and they were just like, what, this is the thing, if we're talking about you're going to trial and you're going to be under the legislation, or I have legislation on my mind, sorry, but you're going to be found either guilty or not guilty by a thing of your peers, right? But is it ever the peers? Like, is it ever your peer? No. They're not matching class, they're not matching social, they're not matching ethnic, no background, they're not matching the cultural histories that folks have gone through and experienced. That's our peer. You know what I mean? And is that ever the fair process? Has it ever been really a fair process? I wonder. you
I
know
wonder too. And definitely there's situations where it's not
yeah.
a fair process.
Mhm.
And so we're doing everything in our power to dismantle
Yeah.
that pipeline to prison,
Yeah.
so they don't get in that judicial system where they're caught in a situation where it's not a fair
Well,
process.
and that's the thing, that's why you're so great, because you're leveling out a plant, you're leveling out a Mount Everest right here, and chipping away at something so that it can be at least equitable. Like, let me have my experience, let me shine some light on and give you some knowledge that's invaluable knowledge, so that we cannot have such a punitive system where people are actually seen for humanity and viewed in a different light, because you come and you shine that light. So you're creating, I don't know about fair, but you're definitely chipping away at all of the injustices, you know what I mean? And just you know what I mean? We need 9,000 million more of you. Make it
Yeah.
happen
Yeah.
right now.
Whew.
Ready? Woo, here we go. Yes.
Poof. If I had a magic wand, poof, 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 poof. So we had a explosive gang cultural training yesterday in house with different credible messengers,
Dope.
individuals from backgrounds from Bloods, Crips, Asian, Latino gangs, and
Hmm.
we had a good discussion. And each one gave their own perspective on each neighborhood
Yeah.
of where they came from and were
Right.
raised.
Right.
And so we were trying to identify, like, what's the scale of violence and what's the struggles within the schools and the population that we're serving.
Right.
And we talked about the times are different now. Now
Hmm.
we're feeling the impact of COVID 19.
Hmm.
Now the effects are
Right.
happening.
Right.
When COVID first began, individuals that go to school were given a laptop. You could learn. If you learn, you do. If you don't, oh well.
Yeah.
And it created this technology revolution of kids being on social media, and
Right.
now it's like their sense of belonging, and that's all they do. They walk around like with zombies, and their Instagrams and uh, Snapchats and Facebook, right? And so the expression that's on social media, the media, it's like it's fast. It can connect quick, and
Hmm.
so we're having these challenges within the communities. And something that we talked about is there's all these different cliques
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
In East San Diego was like one gang. Now it's like East San Diego has 5 different cliques, and you got talking about the Juniors and CLS and 37th and North Park. And so you have all these different cliques with no structure.
Hmm.
And then it's happening in the southeastern neighborhoods as well.
Hmm.
A lot of these gangs that are over there, and they have all these different cliques
Hmm.
combined with the media access,
Hmm.
right? It's a challenge.
And no structure.
And no structure.
That's the thing. That's the thing. The no structure.
No structure.
Yep.
And so we're facing that challenge, and we're communicating that. And how could we get down to the root?
Yeah.
And it always comes down to the root.
Yeah.
And what's the root? What's their causative factors that contribute to their
Right.
behaviors
Right.
and their impacts or traumas that they've had in their life? Now, the major feelings that go through that,
Right.
the anger, the fear, the boredom, and the resentment.
Yeah.
And these kids, their brains from the age of 12 to 25,
Yeah.
that prefrontal cortex, right?
Right.
The impulse, the quick excitement. Now your social, emotional side of your brain, how to conduct, how to handle your feelings.
Right.
It takes time to develop to get to that point where there's that controlled system.
Hmm.
But the older you get, the more it decreases, right? On
Hmm.
the chances of you thinking as a kid.
Yeah.
So these are all the challenges that we're facing within the community. And today we want to educate, like the vicious cycle that
Hmm.
we're going through. And like I want you to share about that. What is that?
So, I think you just nailed it though, basically. And I think when and here's, it goes back again, as a society, we become so desensitized because we're functioning from a place of survival more than anything, right? So, from that place of survival, we totally negate the pain. And that's the biggest core issue, right? Is the pain. And we have a tendency of being, not understanding the relevance of pain. And we also have a tendency of thinking extreme. Like, if it wasn't an extreme thing, if I didn't see my homeboy get shot and die in front of me, or if I wasn't beaten and starved as a child, then that's not real pain. No, real pain can be as small as feeling rejected. Real pain can be as small as feeling abandoned or not having your basic needs met, right? And by basic needs, I'm talking about air, shelter, water, and food. Like that in it and of itself can create and induce pain. And that's what we're functioning from out here in society right now, in our communities, because our people are hungry. They're starving,
Mm.
right? They're starving. They're feeling neglected. Their parents are having 4 jobs. They're just trying to keep a roof over their. San Diego is the most expensive city to live in the country.
Number one right now, currently number one,
What?
the most expensive.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
like, you should
yeah,
need
no,
number one
yeah.
in me. I'm like, what's up, number one?
No, number one.
Yeah, it's the
We're
most.
number
So
three. No, moved up to number
yes,
one.
exactly. So it's like, when you create that when you're able to paint that picture and things become so clear and apparent, why that's why we're suffering so hard as a community, right? Because we have our parents that are working 3 jobs. We have our they're being disrespected at their jobs, right? Because they have the service provider jobs. Our kids are being in these schools where they have 60 of them, 60 students in one class, so they're not getting adequate education. They're not getting fed right. They're like, all of these components play a part in that pain, right? But again, we're functioning from a place of survival. So what do? We look for some type of substance, some types of behavior, so that we can get some type of relief from that, right? And that's where the kids and where the young folks and where even some of the adults, right? We rely on social media, or we rely on some type of substance, we rely on something. So then with that gives us that temporary relief, right? So in the moment when we're doing this and we don't want to feel that no more, we get high, we create sexual partners, we are robbing folks, or we're taking something, or we're doing something that's against our own moral compass, is basically what's going on in these behaviors, right? And then ultimately, what it does is it creates a sense of shame and guilt, right? And so then it's like, who the heck wants to feel shame and guilt? Nah, I'm just going to do this all over again, because the pain is reminded. Then we're reminded of that pain. And then we go back to the substance, or to the unhealthy behaviors, or to the sense of relief in which we're finding as a coping skill, or as a coping mechanism to use, just to be able to survive every single day.
And that's that vicious cycle.
Yeah, it's
The
a vicious cycle.
the pain, the trauma that leads to the behavior,
Mhm.
the substance that gives you that temporary relief,
Mhm.
the consequences that could come from that, and the shame and guilt after, and it just repeats itself, repeats itself, repeats itself. And so, functioning from a place of healing,
Yeah.
I come from a place of no judgment. If I don't point a finger, because guess what? That shit's gonna come back like this,
Yeah.
right? And so, just on a trauma informed approach,
Yeah.
just being supportive and working that process with that individual,
Yeah.
as well as working with my process and my healing journey.
Yeah. I think it's so important, and I think, having awareness is great, man, but if we're not productive with that awareness, it's pointless, right? So even knowing that all of these different things are going on, especially in the community, right? You think about like black and brown folks, and you think about our communities, and what that there's a liquor store on every single corner. Why? It's intentional. It's hecka intentional. You think of why it is that you can go to Taco Bell and buy 2 tacos for $2, but you got to buy at one avocado for $3. It's intentional. Like, that's all. It's all intentional. All of those things are set up, and their mechanisms, so that they have an intent to create more harm and more suffering in our communities. And I think that's the thing. So like, what's the next move? Like, even with the youth that are right now, you're talking about all these different cliques, and they're so unorganized, right? Because they don't even have a purpose. They don't have an agenda. They just want to feel community. They want to feel loved. They want to feel accepted. Because why do we join gangs? We want to feel loved. We want to feel accepted. We want somebody with like mind. We want to be a part of a movement so bad, but we don't have the mentality or the capacity at that time to even reimagine what a movement might look like. Why? Because we're so immersed in our own little pocket of our hood, to where this is my community. But imagine, like, if it was filtered out, and if there was a structure, and if there was an agenda, they would be so powerful, and they would have a purpose, and a movement could be built with
Mm-hmm.
that. An amazing movement. Actually, I'm ready to go recruit, because I feel they should all be at the Capitol talking about how their needs are not being met.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that's what I think.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about implementing so much healing for a community, we have to go back so far into time, right? And think about all of the harms that have been done, and how we can fast forward 400 years and now be present today, and figure out what that healing might look like. And it is being trauma informed. It is training folks how to treat people with dignity and respect. It is also having those hard conversations with our folks and having them understand and helping them to come to their own self determination on what that might look like for them. What does healing look like for you? What does your future look like? And supporting whatever that process may look like, and elevating them and encouraging them through that process. I've come to realize that self-determination is definitely something that doesn't get encouraged or invoked enough in a lot of different spaces. And I feel like with self-determination, it allows them to be who they need to be for who they need to be to create that self-worth and that self-validation versus not telling them what society should expect them to be or seeing themselves as they need to be seen and they should do this because this is the way that it looks and it would benefit you better to go in this path than this path. Well, that's not encouraging our self-determination then.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
just figuring out where we find our own power in our self-determination, especially for the youth, man, because they're amazing. They're phenomenal. They're on that thing all day. There's so much knowledge on that thing. They're sharp. They're sharp. And to be able to encourage that sharpness and be able to do those transferable skills and implement that and help them heal in some way, shape, or form.
That's it. That's the
Yeah.
solution. And building leaders and moving out the way,
Yeah.
inspiring them, loving them, compassion, effective communication, supportive, individualized support.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they want to feel safe, right?
Yeah.
They want to feel safe with their communities. So thank you, Nikki. That was a great discussion.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You're stuck with me for life, so here it is.
Yeah, I gotta pull you in. I know you out there closing down prisons and
Trying.
activists.
Yes, we're
yeah,
trying to get all of our people home right now. Like
that's
seriously, like
no,
it's no joke. Like we're really trying. Like how are you okay as a society with letting people that are inside cages get victimized by people that are overseeing them and perpetuating more harm and more trauma and then expecting them to feel safe in this environment? But you're claiming to keep society safe, but you're the ones that are inducing all of the harm and violating people in their being. That's insane to me. I don't understand it. And I'm glad that I endured it. No, let me take that back. I'm I'm I don't even know what the right word is, what the right feeling word is. But the fact that I can relate to the people and now be able to stand out here and still do them no justice, right? Because it's like I'm not experiencing since COVID has happened, since everything has happened, like things have changed in the last 4 years since I was there, you know? It's way worse. It's way worse. But at least I have a leg to stand on to where I can call out other people when CDCR is trying to come with their stuff and be like, that's not what that's not what the Title 15 says. That's not what the DOM says. That's not how they do us in there. That might be what it says, but that's not how they do us in there. So being able to challenge those practices and that culture is definitely rewarding for me because I know eventually, hopefully in my lifetime, but maybe not in my lifetime, but eventually, something will happen.
Mm.
So,
Let's do a checkout.
all right.
And so the checkout's going to consist of how you feel now
Mm.
and why your inner child, your child, when you were little, why would that individual be proud of you now?
Mm. Okay, so check out. Um, my name is Nikki. My pronouns are she, her, we. I am feeling pumped, motivated, inspired, and definitely grateful still. And I think my inner child would be proud of me
Yes.
today.
Yes.
Because, oh, you're going to get me emotional. Because never, I don't think as a child, never did I believe that I had a fight in me, not for myself or for others. Physical, yes, but not to the degree. Never would I have imagined that I would have endured everything that I endured. I would have suffered and survived everything that I did, and then be in a position to where God has aligned me to stand on behalf of so many people to fight for something that's so unjust in hopes that there is an end game to see some form of justice. So never as a little young child did I ever think that I would carry that weight, I guess, and have the privilege of being able to do something so worthy for others, you know? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
I love you.
I love you
Yeah,
too.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Yeah. And so I feel grateful. My inner child would be happy because all the impacts of trauma that I experienced as a kid,
Yeah.
I'm finally taking the courage to take that step
Yeah.
and really focus on myself, work on myself.
Yeah.
And these last few weeks, I've been like on this energetic process, really identifying my behaviors and like
Nice.
really thinking and processing. Like, so I'm in therapy. I'm embracing it, and so for me, it's a continuous process. But
Right.
that inner child would be happy that like I have the courage to like make that step to work
Yes.
on myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I feel like a little superhero right now.
Yeah. Okay. Come on now.
So thank you.
Thank you very much. Peace out, y'all. This has been Victorious Voices. It's been amazing to be able to spend this time with you. Hoping that you were able to gain some information, some knowledge, take some tools away from this conversation. And yeah, thank you. We appreciate you.
VV.
Victorious Voices. We out. Bye.